that one is fully I said, I need you making more profit because you're not treating them well.
Okay, we're ready, everyone.
That's all you're getting.
Good evening and welcome to the meeting of the Community Environmental Committee, which has been held here at Newton Pavilion on Tuesday, 4th of 2026. I'm Councillor Stevens, and the Chair's meeting. Before we start, there's some housekeeping things to note. We're not expecting fire drills, but if the fire alarm sounds, please do quickly as possible. Put them visitors so you know the fire assembly points in the car park at the front. We know where the toilets are in the foyer. Turn your phones off or put them to silent. We want them to hear and please respect those speaking. Also, you should be aware that the meeting has been recorded and streamed on our social media channels. I will now ask members of the council and the committee, and starting with Councillor Eamon O'Rourke.
I'm O'Rourke, Fenny, Stratford.
Samantha Brown, Lakes Estate.
Ray Blackman, also Fenny, Stratford.
Sophia Fernandez, Fenny, Stratford.
Marie Weimer, Lakes Estate.
Terry Stevens, Man South.
It's the same, Man South.
Craig Scott, Mallow North and Ethan Meath.
And the officers, please.
Louise Chapman.
Richard. Hello.
Hello?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, Richard Graham, Central Bletchley, Deputy Mayor. Online.
Louise Chapman, Deputy Clerk.
John Fairclough, Town Clerk.
Support Services Manager.
Thank you very much. Okay. Agenda item number 1, councillors' apologies for absence, please.
Yeah. Ethan and.
Thank you very much. Oh, before we start, I'd just like to send our condolences, if you can note in the minutes, for the adult who died tragically last week in Westwood Road. So we pass our condolences to family and friends. To note councillors' declarations of interest in any matters in the agenda. Item number 2. I'll take that as a no. We've got approval of minutes for the last meeting. This is pages 3 to 6. I'm assuming that everyone read their pack beforehand and have identified any errors or omissions in the minutes. So can we take that as read? Thank you very much.
Just add, in the minutes we talked about residents attending the summer sessions, sorry, allowing non-parish residents to attend the youth sessions.
Yep.
So on the table is the spreadsheet of who attended. We didn't actually get to the point of having any non-residents attending the sessions. So the first line of the spreadsheet says all. On each section is the number of residents who booked onto the sessions, regardless of where they were from. And then the BFST is the number of residents from our sessions. Yellow means we're over 100%, and orange means that we're over 90%, because I appreciate it's quite a small font. So we didn't actually get to that point, which is good news.
Any questions on that? Thank you. We get 3 big uptake in our parish, sure. Right, so item number 5, we're going on to receive a report from the environment management updates. These 7 to 24.
Would you like me to speak to this, Chair?
Yeah, please.
So this has been prepared by the Environment and Landscape Manager, William Allen. So members have the Environment Management report in front of them, and there is one recommendation at the end on this report. So starting with the allotment, demand remains high for this, with 97 applications currently on the waiting list. Although applicants can register interest in more than one site, overall occupancy across our allotment remains very high, just under 98%, with only 6 vacant plots across all 4 sites. So landscaping, members will probably know that it's been quite hot lately. I don't know if anyone's noticed. So with the hot, dry weather, this means grass growth has slowed down significantly. So this allows the team to focus on other priorities such as pruning, crown lifting, and responding to the inquiries that we've got coming through the website. So obviously there's a lot of watering been going on in the town centre, so they've been concentrating on that as well. And since we last met, we've had 24 inquiries come through the website from residents for landscaping related issues. Moving on to the Community Infrastructure Fund, members will remember this was spoken about the last meeting about the play equipment going in Newton Lees. I believe there is a quote in your pack as well as information about the play equipment that's going in. So following the work and finish meeting where 4 suppliers were shortlisted, Wickstead emerged as the preferred contractor. You'll see their proposal offers quite a strong range of equipment for all age groups. I will put on the screen actually just to give you a bit more idea of what's happening here. I don't know if you can see that, but basically this is Newton Lees. On the left-hand side is where members decided the play equipment would go. So we can do that at the end, but there is the quote in your pack for the 25,000, which sits within the SID budget. You can see on the left-hand side the layout of everything there. So within the quote is a list of items that will be contained within that as well. Which we can talk about in a moment. If there's any questions at the moment, Chair.
Yep.
And then finally, the last update in this report is around the next round of Community Infrastructure Fund application, which we've got to put in by the end, which has put in, sorry, at the end of August. You'll remember that we agreed on the solar panels, and as well as the new boards at Blue Lagoon and some SIDs, so speed indicator device pole locations. So that's all been decided. So, Chair, the recommendation for 4 members is to approve the appointment of Wickstead to install the play equipment at Newton Lees. The final cost remaining within the approved £25,000 Community Infrastructure Fund budget.
Any comments on that?
Just
Yeah.
Yes, so just in terms of conditions, it's quite very extensive terms and conditions. And I've got to say from when I've done work for a council in a past life, I felt some of them were onerous to us, guarantees, etc. And unfortunately, coming to BSD's office to get the privilege of my computer network at home, getting on support. So I've got some of the information that's on my phone. I can't bring it up at the moment. But there were quite a few questions about the terms and conditions that could work against us. So I just powered it back up again. It was.
But in principle, wouldn't go for that. But in principle, are you happy with the equipment and
equipment and cost?
And yeah, fine. So it's just T's and C's.
But we want some T's and C's. I do think we need to, or someone needs to go over and highlight these.
Richard.
Yeah, just look. I'm all happy for the play equipment to go in. Looking at the design and everything else, are there any park benches going into that where parents can sit down and watch their children play, or is it just standing room only?
We had some lovely benches there, and they decided to be randomised. But there's a couple of stone sort of like blocks where people can sit there. That's all been there. So there's already there for that.
What, concrete blocks?
Yeah. Well, we had nice benches up there.
Yeah, the benches were there, they got put in, but they get set on fire.
Yeah, there's benches available which installed at Winkle that came out of Bletchley Town Centre, but they took some of the metal benches, the metal ones, which don't burn too well. So, and essentially they're out. They must be sitting on our asset register. And if we need benches, we certainly take them and redeploy them.
Yeah, the option.
Do you want us to look into that site as a
If possible, please.
If they're in keeping with the sort of modern look of it as well.
With the company.
Paint, yeah. The other ones were put up around. And so the proposal is to recommend contract with Steve to install the play equipment alongside moving these pitches, subject to amendments requested and final cost being 25,000 SIP budget, and Ray's going to provide some comments on the T's and C's. So I'm, so I'm second, not proposer, seconder, all those in favour, all those against, any abstentions? It's gone through. Sean, go back to that agenda. This one is, this is town centre engagement, is it? So item number 6, in pages 25 and 28, to receive a report on the town centre engagement in year 1.
So this report is of the because of the changes that we've made to some of the roles within the team. So we are hiring a marketing and visitor officer that will be based at Sycamore Hall, so that we have a member of staff at Sycamore Hall. By doing that, they'll be looking after social media, marketing, website and the newsletter, as well as looking after Sycamore Hall. That has meant that the focus of the community and events officer can be redirected from communications to community engagement, and also it's probably a good time to start thinking about town centre management, especially with the work that's been going on in the town centre. That's just a little bit of background. And this report is to just talk about some of the projects within that first year with this new resource and new focus of the role. So the first project is the town centre signage scheme. This is something that we have spoken to informally to Milton Keynes Council about as well. And this project would be during the budget setting process, allocating £5,000 additionally to the grant funding budget line for businesses in the town centre, specifically to apply for a grant to pay to improve their signage. And this is about elevating the shop fronts and elevating the town centre so that it's improved for residents and for visitors and for the businesses. So some of the benefits would be protecting and enhancing the regeneration work, improving the appearance and quality of the town centre environment, supporting local businesses and strengthening business confidence, increasing the attractiveness, creating more cohesion and a visually appealing streetscape, strengthening local identity and civic pride, and supporting the objectives of the town centre liaison role and the council's wider ambitions. I have spoken to a local signage company, and an indicative cost of a sign that is approximately 4.6 metres by 700 centimetres on aluminium is £550. Obviously, larger shops, it would cost a little bit more money. Smaller shops, it would cost less. But at that rate, it was actually cheaper than I thought when I wrote this report, and that price came in. So if you actually wanted to think of a number of businesses rather than the budget pot, you can sort of mix and match to that. Is there any questions at this point on that?
Just on the sign.
Just on signage, yeah, because we're sort of jump onto a different subject. No, it includes installation.
So this is about criteria.
Mm-hmm.
So what they would have to achieve to be able to, because they were getting a grant, is it getting 100% or is it a percentage? So we would pay for the new signage.
Mm-hmm.
We would specify the signage or the quality of signage.
We would have a preferred supplier.
Yeah.
And therefore the spec of the signage, but in terms of design, it would be their own design. It would be their business.
Yeah.
And then the criteria is something that we would need to go and have a little think about, but it would be in terms, how their business is doing, how they want it to look, and we would go through that process.
The other thing I've got is when you see sections 106 money, can a percentage of every 106 money, because it doesn't have to be particularly in Bletchley, it could be, if it's in Newtonleys, it's in Lakes, if it's anywhere else, a small percentage that be allocated to that fund, because everybody shops, if hopefully everybody shops in Bletchley, that signage benefits everybody. So what I'm saying, rather than just it come out of one fund, I think we could get some extra money into that fund so we could do more, and that could also go for other areas at a later date.
Yeah, I don't know if sometimes the 106 is quite prescriptive, isn't it? So I don't know if it would have to tie into the objectives of that specific ring fence money within the section 106 fund.
It would have to be an application on each section 106.
The other thing, I do think there would be an opportunity, not necessarily section 106 money, but to work collaboratively with Milton Keynes Council should we test this project and it works well. I can see that would be a really good relationship, and that's something that we'd work together on.
Like the question, should we define a bit of a template for the outside of the signage? You see it in some areas, right, where everyone's shop signage looks the same, but the content within is then consistent. Could we look to do something similar so that any new shop signs in the future have to adopt that standard?
So I know that regardless of this project, I know that is something that Milton Keynes Council are looking into, because it's more of a planning thing. However, it's something that we could do, and the uniformity would be there in terms of the specification of the signage. So if we're looking at having a budget of, let's say, £5,000 as recommended, but that's 9 signs. So there's already a bit of uniformity there. 9 businesses take us up.
But it's more, we're going to specify, I don't know, the background of the sign is always this Pantone colour, it's always got this border, and then inside it is their logos, because that's one of the quite prestigious areas too, right?
Oh, 100%. I think there's, so we looked into this in Leighton Buzzard because it's in a conservation area, and even in a conservation area, it's quite strict about how you get that in place. And I think some businesses, when they have their own brand identity, without that enforcement from Milton Keynes Council, they'll say, I don't like the colour green and yellow, or whatever colour, whatever colour they decide.
It's more, you can border it, you can frame it, they can still have whatever colours they want inside it.
But, I mean, I think if should this be approved, it's then a more formal conversation with Milton Keynes, and it's definitely something that we can raise as, do you think it can evolve into this version of the project?
Sounds good.
Sorry, to clarify, the 5,000 and the 2,000, that's on top of the improvement fund.
In top of, sorry.
So it says improve operational and budgetary signage improvement fund. Is that separate money? Or
in the recommendations, they're 2 separate parts.
So you're asking 5,000 and 2,000 extra on top. And so where's that coming from?
Further down the agenda, we've got a budget setting. So it will be an increase, but there's other things that we're looking at.
That's swimming and not spending as much as we used to.
It's for 27, 28. I'm sorry, I think I put 26, 27 in before, but it should be 27, 28. The next budget setting.
I think it's a really good idea, because actually having a town centre liaison there, because we've got to protect the New Queensway. I've seen some of the shops already pushing their goods on the other side of the pavement, outside of their boundary. So it'd be good to have someone else who can talk to business and say,
Positive.
Maybe there are businesses that we could say, we'll buy you a new sign, and then we've got bargaining tools to say, hey, should be a bit tighter.
There's rules around how their boundaries. We have to go back and say that there's a boundary.
It's a relationship, though.
It really is.
There's no certain liaison officer. When the person comes off.
Okay, cool. So the next...
guys, just quickly, we had I'm just going back into history. We had a town centre manager before, and this problem cropped up where people and their boundaries and everything else. And I think we need to be sure about the boundaries that people have got outside their shops. and making sure that people adhere to sticking within inside their boundaries. Do you know what I mean? But we as a town council, we need to be sure about what the legal ramifications are going to be with us telling shop owners what they can and what they can't do. Regards to signage, yes, I agree about having uniformity in signs, but then we've just got to be careful about the different shops and their brands and their logos and all that sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously we can't tell shop owners what logo to put on the front of their shops and what that looks like. It's like saying to McDonald's, you've got to do it in this style because of our town centre, but McDonald's is McDonald's, isn't it?
I don't think that was what Craig was saying. Craig was saying a defined shape.
A defined shape, border, frame.
Yeah.
They can have whatever logos and they can have their own, they can put it, make it.
Oh, I
green,
see.
pink, purple inside
It will
it.
be a uniform spec.
But actually, everything looks like it's in a defined template.
Yeah.
Not just shape inside, but bordered, beveled, it's
Yeah.
the same.
I think that, and that will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, next is waste management education, which obviously does what it says on the tin. This would have to be an ongoing relationship between the town centre management element of the role and Milton Keynes Council, but also beyond that project, the coffee grounds recycling scheme. So the town council would provide biodegradable coffee bags to coffee shops. They would fill them with the used coffee grounds, and then residents can come in and collect them for free, and they use it for composting. Aylesbury, I think 1.7 million kilos saved from landfill. We did the same thing in Leighton Buzzard. We went through 2,000 bags a year. Really good for sustainability and a relatively low cost to us. This will come from an existing budget line. So that's that one. Any questions on that? No. And then the last one is the social media campaign. So I think it's a really good time whilst all these improvements are happening in Bletchley to promote some of the great things that we have in the town centre. It not only Queensway, Aylesbury Street, other areas. I've recently seen that there's something called chef hubs in the industrial estate down by Denby. No, not by Denby. What's that? No, yeah, and that is an area where little independent food businesses use a communal space divided up for chefs so that they can grow their business, takeaway business. And so it'll be really good for this sort of sister account, whether it's a separate social media account or it's a separate page on the website that has slightly different branding, but almost like a tourism element to Bletchley where we can talk about the uniqueness of the town centre, the businesses. Hopefully we'll have the resource and the time to be able to do small interviews. My personal hope is taste tests, but we'll see. But yeah, so that's the idea of that, and that's why the recommendation is that increase of £2,000 just to be able to support that additional promotion of Bletchley and the businesses there. That's that.
Super, thank you. Any questions? Town Deal is also planning to do something. Are you aware of that?
The Town Deals have done a video of 5 businesses. This is more an ongoing piece of work, so it would have hopefully grow a following and have frequent posts, whereas that's one promotional video, I think, where they've talked to 5 businesses. So we can absolutely use snippets of that within this, but this would be something that every single week we can post 2 or 3 times. Every time something new pops up, we can talk about it, and it'll be much more reactive to what's going on rather than a static video that's happened.
Any more questions? So we've got 4 recommendations.
Sorry, Chairman. Should some of this not be going to finance? I know the idea is good, but
it will go to finance.
It will go to finance, because we shouldn't be approving the money.
No, this is budget ideas to go to finance. Anything will go on any account anyway.
Okay.
If you can have us approve.
Well, no, because that's part I'm trying to work out where it's coming from.
Yeah, we're just considering it for next year. So we've got 4. The first being to approve the creation of the High Street Signage Improvement Fund. So do we go one by one, or do we do all four of them? Unless there's any opposition to any of them at all.
Can I just make a recommendation that on the signage one, we also include speaking to Milton Keynes City Council to see if we can further enforce the signage.
So that one, the project allocation, we consider it for 5,000 for 26-27.
Yes,
Delegate authority to develop eligibility criteria and administer the shop sign scheme through the town centre liaison function, and consider increasing the website and social media budget by £2,000 per year to support the promotion of the town centre. Have I got a proposer for these four recommendations? Could be Craig, you've got a seconder. Thanks, Ray. All those in favour? All those against? Any abstentions? Abstention. Thank you, that's gone through. Thank you very much, Lou. That's really good. Right, so agenda. Right, the next one is to receive a report on Sycamore Hall engagement update report on pages 29 to 32.
So this is the same report that was on the steering group, but I thought I'd share it here as well and give an update. So the dates for the opening event for Sycamore Hall, the 15th of October and the 17th of October, that's a Thursday and a Saturday. The Thursday will be a stakeholder event with key organisations and businesses attending in the evening, and then the 17th will be more of a classic council event of a more family orientated fun day with entertainment. The timetable that I've shared within the report is the current confirmed bookings for the space. System Advice Bureau have actually moved to a Tuesday, but it's the same amount of time over on a Tuesday. They're using 2 of the meeting rooms. It will actually be work for us and System Advice Bureau. Coffee morning on a Wednesday and Culture Cafe on a Friday and bingo on a Sunday. Sunday morning is not available due to the car park being needed by the church, and from 5 p.m. until close on Friday and Saturday, we'll not be taking any group bookings, or they'll be reserved for party bookings only. In addition to this, we also have prospective bookings from the school nursing team who would like to book monthly sessions to support residents, and they've also said that they are happy to work with us and provide in-kind sessions on topics that we might feel relevant to our residents. Alzheimer's Day Centre, again, once a month, they'd like a 4-day booking to support people with Alzheimer's. Social worker workshops, so they run 8 weekly cycle sessions 3 or 4 times a year, would like to use the space. Bucks Vision would like sessions to support people with visual impairment. We've also been speaking to One Love Luncheon, who run a lunch club for older residents in Warburton about creating a similar session this side of Milton Keynes, and they are coming to Sycamore Hall in September. And the summer sessions that we've been doing is something that we could potentially bring into Sycamore Hall as well, so that geographically we are spread quite nicely across the town. So that's just an update, no recommendations in that.
The opening event, why has it changed to October instead of September?
There's some.
The last time with because the furniture is being delayed, the backboards on the chamber, it's just a slight delay with the delivery. So we can't have it as soon as we wanted to.
Okay. That's it. Now.
Thank you. Any questions from the members? Okay. Okay, so we'll go on to see an update on wellbeing projects, page 33 to 38.
So this is info only in the beginning for the counselling sessions and the swimming sessions provide some data around age profiles, ethnicity, gender, postcode areas, types of issues for the counselling, and some case studies. I'll assume that you've read them. And then the free swimming scheme. So in February 2025, the eligibility criteria changed, and residents who were in employment whilst receiving benefits were no longer eligible for the scheme. Usage of the scheme has been declining over recent years, and whilst it's possible that the removal of this eligibility group may have impacted participation levels, the data provided is not sufficiently detailed to determine whether it has been a contributing factor. Another factor is that they've increased their swimming lessons, so the actual available time that people can attend the free swimming sessions has reduced. So West Bletchley Council have reinstated the eligibility recently for residents who are working and claiming qualifying benefits, and updated its terms and conditions accordingly. The recommendations within this report are to consider reinstating the eligibility for residents who are in employment and receiving qualifying benefits under the free swimming scheme, and for to authorise officers to update the terms and conditions.
I also think we need to look into the swimming because, for example, my son and a load of his friends went to go to the swimming, to do the swimming, and it's never available. It's always swimming lessons going on.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like pointless, isn't it? We're paying to fund and the kids are not getting to
So
use it.
if you look at the, actually is it in here, the date? I don't know. So it is predominantly over 60s who are using the sessions, who are going the day.
In daytime, yeah.
Whereas there
kids
are
are
full sessions.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, they
I think that's why our budget reduced, because we know the sessions were that, you know, there wasn't that many sessions for people to go to.
Yeah, and the whole point of doing it though was to provide it for all.
But it's, at the end of the day, it's the swimming pool.
Yeah, but I think they should have said that, look, we've only got such and such and such time slots. And if it's not going to be, you know,
I quite like,
worth doing it.
I quite like the one where it's, you know, people are working, but still qualifying for benefits. And that's a nice thing to do. I think that's they're the ones who need support probably. On that. Any questions around that? Sort of fluctuate after swimming numbers, but like I say, because we're limited with the sessions, there's not a whole lot we can do about that. Maybe we offer it out, and we might get small footfall, small people.
Yeah, but are we just only supporting? So then we need to change the way, because it's just really going to be supporting adults, and it's not going to be supporting children.
Can we not flex it so that we're flexible with the contractor? So that when they've got that areas, they've got space, that if they say that Mondays is a poor day for getting people making, so it's available for.
Oh, it is. It's available anytime that there isn't other things going on there.
Well, I mean, we're interested that there's children not being able to go to.
Because it's swimming lessons happening.
So basically we can share this, so there's only certain times you can do the open swimming sessions.
Yeah.
So that's reduced since a year ago. We know that's reduced. So we can share the timetable, but that they can obviously control the timetable.
Yeah, but basically, I think for us to be able to do this, we need to know what availability is available for anyone to do swimming in the swimming pool, to then be able to.
We can get what's given in the timetable, swimming timetable.
Yeah, because if there's swimming lessons after school every single day of the week, Monday to Friday.
Which I think.
But if you do this, then that's that out the window. Is there Saturday and Sunday free swim for kids? Or do there swimming lessons there? So we know the timetable, it help us, one, advertise it, and two, see if it's worth carrying on looking at this.
Yeah.
I don't know the same time. I don't really know.
No, they do. It's my son who's. They do have to do some.
Kids from there.
Yeah, so can we get a timetable, come back to this one?
Yes.
There's no decision, it's just for noting this one.
Oh, it's just for noting.
But we can share it,
It's about whether we want to.
Oh, okay,
Include.
What's my benefits?
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is unrelated to.
Yeah, it's
But we'll come
unrelated.
back with an update eventually as well.
We've got a level where we continue the budget and that we feel we don't go over that.
Yeah.
So, that's something we get an influx, which is going to knock us over our budget, so we can start seeing in terms of our budget. So the recommendation is that we reinstate the eligibility for residents or employment and receiving qualifying benefits under the free swimming scheme. Do I have a proposal for that? We'll have a seconder. Thank you. And all those in favour? All those against? Abstention. It's a full. No, another one. This one's such a set to authorise officers to opt out. You'll do that, won't you? Yeah. Everyone's lost to know. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's not really beneficial. Next one is 3940. It's the community events and consider recommendations there. But firstly, congratulations to the team from Big Street League. This is fantastic. It was nice to see that use the new Queensway were part of it, for sure. And that's sort of a similar feedback. I couldn't stay very long, but what I saw was really, really good. Okay, so we'll go to 39. You again,
So I'm short notice taking this report, so if I haven't got as much detail as to be able to have, I apologise. So the patch at Lyon is scheduled for actually on Halloween Day, on a Saturday. It's the same, similar to last year, with autumn themed event with arts and crafts, DJ, fancy dress competition, as well as a gaming bus and go-karts, which I think we're at Big Street E as well. This year we'll be using a company to set up the patch with hay bales, pumpkins and some decor. This will relieve some of the workload on officer staff on the day, as it has previously been very heavy manual handling. The event hopefully will have a higher footfall due to it being on a Saturday and on actual Halloween. Christmas on Queensway to be held in the most available space on Queensway. Will include a Santa Grotto main stage, walkabout entertainment, street food offering, train, Santa Dash snow, traditional carousel rides and ugly jumper competition. Lunar New Year, this is one of the recommendations, so do confirm that it will be hosted at Sycamore. There is no details on that yet, and planning will happen, I guess, after the next working party that we talked about. And then IFTAR, the recommendations are to approve the staff's kitchen as the supply tender and for it to continue to be held, well, that's not the recommendation, but it says to continue to be held at Palatial Hall so that we can keep the capacity.
Thank you. Any questions?
What is the capacity?
Palatial Hall,
Yeah.
it's about 300, yeah.
Yeah, I think it does more than 300, but I think we got budget, we buy some about 300.
And as a reference, Sycamore Hall seated is 70.
We'll get many. Especially
And food we've had from staff every year. Okay, so recommendations are to notification to IFTAR to be at Bletchley Hall and Sash Kitchen. So I think it's to approve Sash Kitchen as the supplier for IFTAR. I'll propose it. We've got a seconder. Thank you. And all those in favour? Those against? Thank you. And Bletchley Hall is set with numbers. So no brain on.
We missed the Lunar, the New Year 2022. While ago.
Yeah, just.
We're going to talk about that would be part of the working group. It's end of January, isn't it? Come on. get councillor co involved in that again. Okay, so let's move on.
Did we miss out on this one, or did I?
That's the community events.
No, this one.
That's what being do with swim.
Yeah,
That's been made well. I thought it was-
is that councillor?
I thought it's councillor, yeah. Did we miss that out?
Councillor's not on the swimming.
Well, there wasn't any recommendations, so.
I think that's just to note the latest report that they have.
It's the schools aware after they pre-council now Angry Coast. And the sort of the highest, something improved. Item number 10 is the verbal update on the Big Street Eat. I think that's page 41, 44, is it? It's just part of the other one.
No, verbal, yeah,
Sorry.
just verbal. So we've had, I think about 18 survey results from visitors of the event. I think we're scoring
Is it 18 not 18?
18.
Got excited then,
No,
sorry.
But anyway, it's not closed. But scoring around about a 3.8, I think, out of 5 on the scoring system, and then obviously there's broken down into different elements. We've had around 5 traders, I think, also give feedback. It seems that dependent on their location is probably dependent on their score, which was predicted due to the nature of Queensway and the fact that we had to extend it down into an area we don't usually use. We have had the initial report from the health and safety support that we had on the day. And there's some learnings and some improvements that we can make from a health and safety perspective. I think the event was very successful from a visitor perspective, and these are just things that we need to do in-house to just improve on some of the processes that we have in place, which we can talk about in further detail at the event working.
I also think the ones that gave feedback about maybe not doing so well, or etc., I don't think it has anything to do with how it was set up, because it was busy from top to bottom. I think maybe just certain things is not right for that particular type of event. So maybe we just need to see what, if that's not working at that kind of event, then we don't have that back next year. Because there's no way that not busy, it was busy, like the football
I
was.
think it's my guess is it's food related, the other side of Queensway, because it felt more sporadic, the food down there, it felt more entertaining.
If the food is over £10, residents are not going to pay it anyway, so maybe it's just not that time of.
Our 2 traders who did the best sold out is Gurkha and Pizza.
Yeah.
Both of their price point was over £10.
But a pizza would be anyway, right?
Yeah.
So
But I mean, it would. I think you'd be able to have a mix. I think as long as there's some affordability,
yeah.
you can maybe have a bit of both. So it was interesting to see that potentially it showed that there is that element to the event, and pizza something you can share, isn't it? So actually,
Because it's
pizza,
opposite
maybe. So maybe it shows that there's we can have the versatility, the variety of all different
It's part of the lessons learned.
But who don't like pizza?
Yeah, true, fair point.
Hi guys, I think the event went really well. It was very busy from top to bottom. Yeah, my only drawback on it was down by the Captain Wrigley's. It was a little bit quieter down that end and possibly up the top end compared to the middle in respect of sound or sound systems or something like that. And when we was doing the awards, we didn't have a lot of uptake in people because many of the people were down by Captain Wrigley's with the kids and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know whether we could think about spreading things out a little bit more so there's a sort of like a uniform set of people right across the whole of Queensway. Do you know what I mean? But then again, you know, I think that people are going to moan for the sake of moaning, or, you know, not everyone's going to be happy one way or another, but I think it was a very good event. We had the footfall, so we've done all right considering.
Yeah, when we looked at the community awards process and what that looks, I think sort of things a refresh.
Yeah.
It just I thought the whole thing was brilliant, to be honest. It was really good. Got everybody involved. Now, the only criticism that I was receiving was the fact that it finishes at 5 o'clock. And I went to Bletchley Rocks from West Bletchley, and they've got bands playing there till much later in the evening, till 10 o'clock. And I don't see why we shouldn't be doing the same, because the party wants to go on, and I think it was really great. And I know that might be tougher for the officers, but somehow I just think if we can extend it on, because it finishes with the colour throw, and then it's gone. And it'll,
Was till 6 and they reduced it to 5.
right, and I just think we should be pushing that and getting that real party atmosphere going through into the evening. That's just my opinion.
I got the same from Martin from Scotland. They said that when the people who finished work and got the opportunity to go.
Yeah,
So that's.
I think that's really valid. Okay,
Cool.
yeah, I mean, I guess it's all to discuss with the.
Yeah, a lot of lessons learned and talk about,
Everyone has different things on the side. We've done it all before.
The football's not again this year.
Well,
Yeah.
some of the acts on it were really good as well, weren't they? Yes. I think we can do the same again.
So you should get operated, yeah.
I should get on,
Everybody that I saw on the day, which was hundreds of people, said it was an amazing event, and the only negative comment was the price of food, which we have every single year. So it doesn't matter really, like you said, what you do, but I do still. But if you're going to have someone there that does £5 burgers and have someone there that does £10 burgers, you're going to have the people with £10 moaning that they're not taking any money, and the people that do the £5 and say they're doing loads of money and they've had a lovely day. So you're not going to.
well, that's a free market for you, unfortunately, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the way it's going to be, no matter what you do.
You judge it by how good it is. There was one on the Canal Festival. There was a couple selling burgers. They were just out of this world. I actually went back for a second, but on the second day, it was just really, really good. I was really impressed with the quality of the food, and it wasn't particularly dear, but it was certainly dearer.
That's nice as well, that's cool.
I mean, the entertainment was, there was something to see or to do or everywhere. So
Yeah.
I think
I didn't see the centre stage at all because I was absolutely rammed from start to finish. But I saw all the characters going past, all the entertainers going past. They were going from top to bottom. So there was always something going on around you. I thought the event was so much better this year compared to last year.
Yeah.
Which is better.
The issue we had with the actual infrastructure.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. That's why I think when they say they didn't take, maybe then that's just not for them at that particular. Every event has different ways of having stores.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Very good. Good feedback. Item number 11, is that further or was it a report? This one. Work plan for 26, 27.
Have I not attached to it? I actually haven't seen it, so maybe I have not. Yeah, I don't think it's in there. Shall I share it?
Was that, or is it not there? No.
No.
It's sort of that, but that's.
Oh. In file. I haven't made any changes to it from last time, and this is that document that just outlines topics of conversation and reports over the year, and I haven't made any amendments. If there's anything anyone wants me to put in it for the remainder of the year until 31st March, I can do.
So if you're asking for feedback from everybody.
Yeah, but it's difficult if I haven't got it in front of me. But
We do it offline.
yeah, I can share it tomorrow.
Share
on
it,
email, and if there's anything
But please do feedback on it because, stuff's hanging forward. So that sort of participation would be good. That's fine, just forward it around. Receive a report on Youth Network MK, pages 41 and 44.
Yeah, this is just some information around youth network that run sessions at both the Lake State Community Centre and here. So during autumn 2025 and during autumn 2025, spring 2026, They delivered 50 funded sessions, 25 at Newton Lead and 25 at the Lakes Estate, at an average cost of approximately £200 per session. 87% of attendees live within the town council boundary. Newton Leeds averages between 16 and 21 young people per session, and the Lake State session is typically lower with between 9 and 16 attendees.
I see that she's changed it to Drayton Park School,
Yeah.
so I think it'll go up.
Yeah,
100%.
that was the next part. Yeah,
Sorry,
no, that's fine.
Sorry.
No, that's good.
No, I think that's a good move to do.
Yeah.
I think because the school kids from there will find out more about it and will most likely go to, because it's in their environment and in their school. So yeah, I think that's a good move.
They will be introducing or have introduced feedback forms, develop a distribution list for future youth activities and explore opportunities for an older youth club and opportunities for older youth club members to have their own space. And this report is just to know.
I think what they're doing is good.
It's good, it's good recommendation, I think. You certainly know what they need.
You don't want kids going. That's what
Yeah, exactly.
I think that would
Yeah.
triple. I don't even think it a double, I think it a triple. So that's,
Over to Ish now for a verbal on the neighbourhood plan, how that's going.
Thank you very much. Just a quick update. So we've got a 4 weeks left of the consultation period, so pretty much slap bang in the middle now. We've had quite a few successful consultation events over the past few weeks. So the last one was the Canal Festival, the Big Street Eat. Done Queensway a couple of times. We've done Fenny, Stratford. I think I've missed a couple of other ones that we've done as well, basically. So yeah, I mean, been getting some interesting feedback. I think the key thing is telling people that we are doing a neighbourhood plan and why it's important for them, and really raising awareness. Now we're getting to the stage where we're getting people coming to the stand saying, I asked the first question, have you heard that we're doing a neighbourhood plan? I'm like, oh, actually, yeah, I've seen something about it. So I mean, the seeds have been planted already into their minds that, there is this plan. That's the education piece, and then we're going to be pushing forward with getting the responses that we need as well, which is the key thing. And obviously, the better quality responses that we get, the more we demonstrate that we're taking people's feedback into account, the more likelihood we have of going past the referendum stage as well. So I think the other thing the main thing that I wanted to share with you guys is that, obviously, as councillors, just going to reiterate it, you guys voted to pass the plan through. You guys need to back it, champion it, speak to your immediate family members, your extended family members in the area, your next door neighbours and anybody who you know in the area about this plan. Tell them why it's important, and tell them to start filling out the feedback forms. Now, yourselves as well, as a bare minimum, I'd be expecting you guys to be providing a very detailed response back in terms of what your thoughts are, in terms of how the area is going to be shaped over the next 30, 40, 50 years. So it is a very important piece of documentation. I mean, the stuff which went on with the adult gaming centre, for example. I mean, if we had a neighbourhood plan, then we'd have more ammunition to fight against it. So it's just a live example of how important the plan is. Yeah, obviously, any questions about any of the policies, just give me a shout. Happy to talk through it with you guys.
Thank you. You guys have done a heavy lifting on this. But what opened my eye on Sunday was when you explained to people what it does and how much protection you haven't got currently. It's when that sort of penny drops, they went, okay, this is an important set of policies. It really is. And the discussion we had on Sunday and the interest was fantastic. It was really good conversation, good rich conversation.
Well, Sunday was quite good, even that's not.
No, it's good. No, Saturday.
Saturday, sorry.
Saturday, sorry. Right.
Yeah, just a quick one, is, Ish has worked really hard on this, and when you speak to people, one big thing that came to me, and I'm sure you'll come to Ish as well, is the adult gaming centre. Right, that was, everybody said, we don't want another gaming centre, we don't want nail bars, we don't want this. Everybody had a combination of what they didn't want. And maybe we need to put something out there that on social media or whatever that actually tells them that if you don't want an adult gaming centre, then the neighbourhood plan may stop it next time round. Because people say, well, I know you see it on Facebook, I've seen it on Facebook, oh, you didn't do anything, I didn't do anything. Whoever else is on Facebook, you get the criticism that comes across, what have you done about the adult gaming centre? And, you know, maybe we need to put something out there.
I think I don't cut you, Ray. I totally agree with what you're saying, but as a town council, we've got to be mindful that we don't get into the realms of people moaning and complaining and sticking it on us individually as councillors, but then there's full council and our resolved position and our social media. Do you know what I mean? So we've got a policy and procedures in place for putting out stuff on social media and what that looks like. So we would have to look at the policies of our social media and how we put out statements into the public domain, because we've got our reputation as a council to protect. Now, I do get it where, say, for instance, something as onerous as a gaming centre, but when precedent's been set by Milton Keynes Council, and Milton Keynes Council are allowing these gaming centres because of licensing conditions and solicitors and barristers that come along and say, well, precedent's been set, why are you refusing this gaming licence? Why are you refusing this licence? And we've got to be careful that we don't fall into that argument with members of the public and actually people wanting to open a business. We've got to be so careful as a council.
Richard, I disagree. I think you're wrong, Richard. I think we as a council exist for one purpose only, and that is to represent our residents.
Oh, Ray,
we should be speaking up. We should be saying.
Ray, there's a way to speak up, and we've got policies and procedures in place for that. I'm not wrong, because I've been speaking up for this community for nearly 17 years now. And at the end of the day, people jump on the bandwagon. And at the end of the day, there's licensing conditions, licensing law, and the law of the country as well. And we have to be mindful as a council that we don't fall into a trap where we're having an argument with solicitors, barristers, and we get into this argument where actually precedent's been set. You cannot refuse on the grounds of what? What is the reasons for refusing that license? And I get it, where there's a combination of many licenses in the area. We don't want to be the town centre that has got 50 licenses that says, oh, you can come to Bletchley and just all you're going to be doing is gaming, nail bars, this, that, the other, rah. Unless we can get into these private landlords and start having big discussions about the type of businesses that are coming to our town centres. And that's where it starts. It isn't about the person that wants to open a business. It's about the landlords that are allowing these businesses to open in the first place. Okay. And private landlords, we can't really do much about telling them what business to open for what business they can't open. And that's the contentious issue that we've always got with our town centre.
Right, no relax all the gambling laws. They've all been relaxed since they were in beforehand, Blair's era. So there's nothing we can do about casinos or anything put in our town centre because they're relaxing laws. So it doesn't matter how much you moan, Ray, or how much you don't want it, there's nothing we can do about it.
Absolutely.
Okay? But until they strengthen their laws again, what we can have in our town centres, I doubt if they'll change it now because they're in again, then we can't do much about it.
Well, so if they devolve So the local authorities, then they can actually set a policy.
But the policy is that you can have what you want in your town centre. There's nothing you can do about it because the laws are relaxed for that reason.
And nothing will change, right?
Yeah, well, I was just going to bring it back to that because I mean, Richard had a good point in terms of, we need to be able to set the precedents for expectations. And I mean, what you said, Ray, I mean, 100%. I mean, the adult gaming sector is a hot topic. It's something which is attractive, which will push people to the neighbourhood plan. I mean, I get what Sam said, there's nothing we can actually say, no, you can't have an adult gaming centre, but we can have ammunition there. Just like Milton Keynes City Council have their own policy on gambling. We've got our own neighbourhood plan where actually our planning consultant has done, about 140 plans, have said that we can specifically put it into the wording. When another licence comes up, we've got ammunition to say, look, it's actually, again, we can demonstrate to the public that we've done our bit by opposing it, even if it gets passed.
It will get passed. There's nothing you can do about it.
We can say that, we can demonstrate to the members of the public that we were on their side, because that's what they wanted essentially. So
guys,
So let's wrap it up. The neighbourhood plan gives the opportunity to provide the residents that things like the adult gaming centres, we can say, well, we could have an opportunity to oppose that if it was in our plans. It rises the plan.
And to be fair, I just want to end it on this, Richard, 1 minute. I think Ray was really only trying to say that we can support residents. If they want to have a voice, we can support them in giving them links to report things, etc. There's a way of doing that, obviously, a bit more out there.
So guys, just on the last note, Chair, just on the last note, there is a way of doing things, and we are in support of everything our residents want and say. We've just got to be mindful of how we do it now. We've been everywhere together doing this neighbourhood plan, and I keep on saying it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for residents to get involved, have their say. The majority of residents that we saw on Sunday, and that was my starting line. What are you interested in? And are you interested in this? Well, if you are interested in this, you need to have your say. You need to vote. You need to put your feedback into this neighbourhood plan. You've got one chance to do this, and that's what you've got to do. And that's the message that we've got to send as a council, as all councillors round the table there and full council need to get into our residents and say, you've got once in a lifetime opportunity. When that opportunity passes, it's done. Don't moan and complain.
Did you have anything else on open plan?
No, just to reiterate what Richard said, I mean, it is a once in a lifetime. As a council, we should be championing it for members of the public, because we are members of the public as well. So, it is definitely a once in a lifetime issue.
Thank you, Ish. I think there'll always be a lively debate into the policies, but I think it's quite a bit of a healthy debate. We like that.
That's true.
Okay, let's move on to item number 14. So PLN//14/148264-6670 MK1-1BA. This is the proposed development of site to accommodate 6 residential units with landscaping and associated work. So there's history on this one. So we've had them twice, I think, before. So I've done some research on it. There was initially 103 dwellings refused, and then there was 98 dwellings refused and dismissed on appeal as well. So this is the site behind Red Lion. It's the old Juices, is it? What Juices? Transfer. So it's that big brown building, brown brick building behind the which it's brownfield site. So there's been two. The main historic concerns are heritage impact, residential amenity, scale and layout. So in terms of, I've looked at the comments. So we've had objections from MK Highways on section 106 works unresolved. We've had objections from NKCC, housing strategy, affordable housing. There's no affordable housing on these four. There's no housing mix. There's no 3-bedroom houses in there. So it's excluding families. I think that's what they're objecting against as well. MCC, sustainability construction, carbon compliance and monitoring information is missing. And there's four no objections: local flood authority, education sufficiency and access, cultural well-being, public art, and leisure sports. There was also a really good objection from a resident, which they sort of cover the points of those. So we've got, there's reasons for objection in terms of what Milton Keynes City Council have objected to. So the affordable housing provision, it falls below the policy expectations, there's insufficient justification that's been provided to reduce into housing provision. The housing mix, as I said, there's no 3-bedroom dwellings. The development appears weighted towards very small units, and it lacks that family size. The objections with highways, the sustainable construction and carbon reduction, the heritage impact, previous Kingdom site raised heritage concerns. That's not been really addressed. That doesn't think it's been addressed. They addressed two of the buildings, not another building. I think it's number 74. So there's concerns also about 74 being overlooked, loss of privacy, loss of outlook, and overbearing impact. There is a strong evidence there. That parking wasn't one of them. Parking was not sufficient. No, parking wasn't one of them. So it's good. In principle, developing brownfield sites is a good thing. However, because of the contribution to the housing numbers that Milton Keynes requires, and so there's a number of policy and technical issues which remain unresolved. So I should just everyone's thoughts on that before we talk about it.
Yeah, I think covered it all pretty much. I mean, I am strongly for the development of this site, like very strongly. However, there's a lot of issues raised by multiple stakeholders, and that's the key thing. I mean, highways, MKCC, it's affordable housing, the whole lot. I mean, the ecology. I mean, there's a plethora of objections for real things, basically. I mean, I think we should support this application, subject to these conditions being met. Essentially,
I totally agree. Anyone else? So in terms of thinking about what we acknowledge the benefits of redevelopment of brownfield sites, increasing housing supply and support and regeneration, absolutely. It's a lovely area, and the ones that are there are really nice. They're really in keeping. The benefits are currently outweighing the unresolved concerns related to affordable housing mix, highways, sustainability, heritage impact, and neighbouring amenity. So I think we should object to the application in its present form, whilst remaining supportive of redevelopment principles. So, like I say, it's subject to then resolving those policies and what MPCC want, and we should support them.
I just wanted to be clear on my wording. It was, we support the application, but subject
to conditions of,
just because the other way is, it just sounds a little bit more off if it's, we object to it.
No.
I want to show that we are in strong support of developing that.
Yeah, but not
essentially.
The stakeholders are on board, 100%. So we object, we'll support, but we'll on the condition of
possibly the size of the properties.
Yeah, there was a comment there, wasn't there, about the quality of the accommodation. I know that might be confusing with previous application. I'm pretty sure it was there again. I think that comment is already there from MK.
Housing strategy.
Yeah.
There's no 3-bed home, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Too many 1- and 2-bedroom flats, around 75%.
So we'll vote to support it on the condition that the opposition by Milton Keynes Council and other stakeholders are addressed. Okay. Those, I've got a seconder. Those in favour, I'll pick them up. What's the fourth guy?
know what you mean.
Thank you. Item number 15, receive information on the Albert Street car park. Page 45. It's got the trees, isn't it?
Councillor Lord, did you want to
Yeah,
talk about it?
yeah.
Because I think you were.
There is actually nothing wrong with the trees, apart from the fact they're destroying all the services under the ground. They've actually lifted the tar back, and there's now rats living under the tar back, where the roots have raised, come up. It also cuts out all the lighting. It's not secure there in the evenings. And what I want to do is take those trees out, put some neighbourhood friendly trees in, and tidy all the hedge up. So it's a nice walk, because nobody goes through there in the evening. Only blokes, women definitely wouldn't go through. But it is an access to the bus station as well. So if we want a nice new car park, that's what we've got to do.
What trees would go in their place?
Oh, I don't know, probably
The London plane trees, don't they?
London Plains is what's in there now. They're the ones that belong in parks.
Yeah, no.
Not on the high street. I went to a meeting about 20 years ago for this council to Oxford City Council, and they just banned every street. They're destroying everything.
That's 18 years old.
Yeah, but it's good. It is a good tree for oxygen side of things, and carbon monoxide, but not for no buildings. So I think they're probably Chinese blossom or something like that. Something you can put a seat around, perhaps.
That's just a note for these.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Amy. That's all.
I actually went to a meeting. Well, I put the entrances into the old co-op bakery that was there, and I know where the cables end and start. So that's what I wanted to know from me initially.
You can't do that, actually. No, it's not. Just to know. Item number 16, this is the financial report showing expenditure of each project for the year to date on community environment matters. To the 27th of July, have we got any comments? This is 47-52. Any exceptions? Anything, Ali?
Nothing I need to highlight, if there's any.
Yeah, budget for everything, but then.
Yeah, around about. Yeah, we'll go with our overall part.
Any questions on that? We'll just note that one. Thank you. Last one. Last but not least, budget suggestions for 27-28 to 3-64.
So, yeah, so budget setting process generally around October for you guys. But it's budget stuff. Yeah. So I just thought I'd put it into sort of one place. Some of these are recommendations that have already been approved, but they're all things that affect this committee. And I thought I'd just go through them, and if there's any that you don't like, then I don't have to look into it any further on the report going forward, or vice versa. So, first one is the Fenny Stratford event, which I think has already been approved. So that was what it's looking in. Website and social media, this is to allow for that increase for town centre initiatives. I think I put 2,000. I think this is actually an increase of 1,800, but around that sort of figure. Town centre engagement, £2,000 it says here, but I think I actually said 5,000. Oh, sorry, no, town centre engagement, that's new budget line to support the town centre management. This is separate to the signage, sorry. Resourcing, competitions, promotions, mini events, so just again supporting that town centre liaison.
That's £2,000. That's mixed around, and that should be 2 and 3.
So No, they're two separate things. So that social media and website is just a general increase.
Oh, sorry.
Pride support and guaranteed grant. This is something that has been discussed as other committees.
Yeah.
And this is about, I think how we supported Pride for 3
We have,
years.
I think we're looking more like a longer term relationship with them as opposed to just come back with £5 every year and make sure they're right. So that we opt for prizes, some benefits, and some advertising and some more sort of council, putting more of our on and stuff in a way. I think Ethan was very keen on having some sort of relationship with them, as opposed to £5 every year.
A lot of money, isn't it?
It's a big event. If things happen to Phoenix as well, it should be performing as well. It's huge.
Yeah. Canal Street, Canal Festival. Yeah, that's linked to Pride. Canal Festival guaranteed grant. So this, at the moment, there isn't a budget line for it. They apply every year for a grant for £500. The paperwork that is involved versus the money that they get, it feels that, if it's something that is something members want to support more long term, then we could do a similar thing with those.
It's certainly stunk actually, isn't it?
Well, can I say that story going around and from the IWA was saying that they won't be running it next year.
Oh.
Now John has a little bit about this as well. The organisers are getting on. And I think as a council, we have to recognise that when you get volunteers, it's really, really hard. We all know about volunteering and how important they are. They age in time as well. Some of them just retire, some of them give up completely, and some of them pass away. And that's what's happened with the Fenny poppers, and it happened with this canal festival. There are people still interested in having some involvement. As to what extent, I don't really know. I'm waiting for a phone call for someone to call me about that. I think we as a council need to be getting out there and trying to get or encourage new volunteers to come in and get involved in this. Because I hear every time, oh, why haven't we got Fenny poppers now? Why doesn't it go in this year? But, people want it, but getting volunteers to be part of it. And once you get involved in doing something, it tends to grow a bit more. So I just think we as a council need to try and find ourselves people who want to volunteer. Maybe our magazine, The Neighbour, can go out there and really actively recruit. There will be people out there that would like to get involved. They don't have to know, they can learn as on the job, they can learn there's people that can help. But one press manager, one volunteer better than 10 press managers.
Yeah, even. I've been contacted by the guy who owns the Checkers, him and Dave from the Swan and the guy on the Red Light want to do something in Simpson Road.
Oh.
So they think they've got lots of volunteers, it says at the moment, but he's got to apply for a grant and all that, go through all the paperwork and that. It's something for next year he wants to do. I told him he can't do it on St George's Day if we've got something on, but he might be getting in touch.
Oh, okay. There's a general apathy in volunteering, and there's a sequence. You look at volunteers and they drop off, but then the community then picks it up and does it by osmosis rather than the same old people. But I absolutely agree with the people are getting older and they're coming through to support. We get the same people that are doing, but now luckily we've got the litter pickers to hire. Each of the users do their bit, we give them the tools, we give them the access to it, and they sort of do it for us. It's the same sort of thing. Is how can we get people excited or incentivise people to volunteer? Because I think that this is dying breed, volunteers. We're even trying to get councillors.
Well, I think that,
difficult, isn't it?
The Fenny poppers stopping, I think it was a bit of a shock to people. They just felt that it'd just go on and on and on.
Yeah, it's like the same old, the same people.
This is what's, I think, put a bit of fire in the belly of the Checkers boss.
Yeah.
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 You're mute, Richard.
Yeah, sorry guys. The community down in Fenny Stratford and or even the businesses down in Fenny Stratford. I mean, we as a council, we will provide as much services as we can. But we need to, like Ray said, we need to, and you Terry said that we need to incentivise the public to help themselves. Sometimes we can't always keep picking up events and stuff like that. We are picking up after Fenny Poppers, and we did decide that we was going to pick up after Fenny Poppers, but we've got to do it the council way, and we've come up with a new strategy for sustainability and stuff like that. And it's got, and everything that we do as a council, we've always got to remember there's a budget line for that, there's a budget line for this, and we're not a bottomless pit that we can pick up on every single mortal thing. This is why, you know, a good volunteer section of our community is what we need to develop at some point in time. And I always say, help us to help you, to help us to help you eventually help the public, because that's what we're there for. So again, all individual councillors can tap into their communities in their own wards and see if they can find volunteer groups and bring that to the table. I don't think the council itself, unless it's the councillors that know people, that know volunteers, can bring that to the table, and then some of the officers can pick up on information led by councillors.
Yep.
CRM system. I apparently didn't have my glasses on for this. I put 8,000, but Kate tells me it's £3,000, so that's great news, everybody. Or the same as £5,000, and that's the introduced CRM system. So that is customer client relationship management system, and it's something that we would use as officers in-house so that we can have a more joined up approach to inquiries. We would be able to log paperwork for events. We'd be able to keep a record, an ongoing record and history of people that we talk to, whether they're complaints, whether they're compliments, and we're just, from an organisation perspective, it would really improve how we work. The next one, I've apparently only put the budget code, not what it is, but it's IFTA. So that's to increase to £13,000. We've been slightly over budget for the last couple of years. That's just the increase to allow for supply costs. Free swims, that's a reduction of £3,000. That's based on the last couple of months of costings to us. However, we could hold up fire on that one and just see what happens by the end of the financial year, especially if we're going to talk to them about the increase in the eligibility. And the community funding will stay the same, but the reason I put it on is because if the committee does want that £5,000 guaranteed grant to Pride, then £5,000 of the community funding could be allocated to the signage project. So it's a bit of a swappy roundy, if that makes sense. And that is everything, but it was just a visual in case there was anything on there that you do or don't like. The CRM report will come to next committee. We can talk a bit about that in a little bit more depth.
So that will come out the IT budget, that soon. So yeah, won't be affected.
So it's an
Yeah, it's an IT budget, but it's
every time. All these questions.
Yeah, so
Sorry. That's fine then. Don't ignore that one.
Is there any asks of the committee?
Well, this is just, you know, some ideas. But if anyone else has any other thoughts about this, want to talk about the next committee or to investigate or any, then let me know. Or if there's anything on here that you're not comfortable with, then. And then obviously this will all go into that
Budget process.
Yeah, budget process.
Yeah. Any questions from any members before we?
I was concerned about the uplift, but once you.
Yeah, it's not huge.
Yeah, maybe that's.
Yeah, that's right, isn't it?
You just said that's from IT, that's from thingy, that's from thingy.
Yeah.
So I think we can Internet 2055. Thank you for our audience.
Can't take it.
Thank you.